You're listening to the Move.
Now, I'm very happy to welcome to the show Loulou and Matt Hsu's Obscure Orchestra. Thanks for joining me today, guys. How have you been?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Of course. It's beautiful stuff, boys. And recently, you guys dropped your collaboration track, Her Love It Rolls, which is the first track you guys have made together since being in the Moldy Lovers. And
right.
how was the process of being able to work together again?
Well, we kind of worked on our parts separately this time. Like when we were in the Moldies, we would all get into a room together every week. And also there were more minds, I guess. Like we had 7 people, all with ideas, and kind of a bit more of a, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a bit more hectic kind of writing, I guess. But this time I wrote my parts and I sent them to Matt. And then he just did his thing. So I think it's quite different, I guess.
Yeah, there's something different, or maybe different and nice about not having the pressure of being in the room, having a set bunch of hours before people start being hungry or something, to just like slowly craft something over time, or over a few days or a few weeks, and not just like, got to come up with the idea now, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how did the actual collaboration come about? Was it planned from when you first started writing the song, Lewis?
No, we kind of talked about working on something else, but not that one. That one just came together really quickly. Like I honestly, I wrote and recorded my part for that song in like 4 hours, which doesn't normally happen for me. And then I just sent it to Matt to kind of see what he thought about it.
Yeah.
And he liked it. And then, he just like went with it.
Yeah. I loved it. I really liked the sensitivity of the vocals and like the sparseness of the instrumental. And it's different hearing you when your guitar isn't on like fully amped and over and stuff.
That's probably the first release I've done not on electric guitar.
Yeah. It's acoustic, right?
Yeah.
Like
maybe ever. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a nice tasteful bit of organ. Yeah.
Yeah. Geez. And so how long did it take you, Matt, to know what you wanted to add to the track when you first heard it?
It in total took me probably maybe 5 or 6 days of just adding layers, maybe 4 days of adding layers, trying different instruments, running to the kitchen and grabbing bits and cups and bits and pieces and things like that. And then another 2 days of like stripping it back down and just seeing what stuck finally. So it wasn't loaded with like, sounds from every possible place.
Yeah.
And so how different was the track when you got it back, Lewis?
Oh, really? Well, my parts are the same, I guess, but I didn't expect it to sound like that. I guess I had no idea. Like I had no, it wasn't like we like talked about what direction it was going to go. I just gave him synth guitar and vocals, and then he just did the rest of it.
Honestly, I thought the song is fully formed even before I touched it. Like it stands on its own really strongly, and it'd be interesting to release that version as as well.
Yeah,
I reckon.
be.
Because
it's funny because like we live next door, and I'd see Matt around the apartment complex, and I was like, "Oh, can I listen to it? Can I listen to what you've done?" And Matt really was guarding it closely. I remember you showed me at one point, kind of early on, and I think that was when you were still just building layers, and it sounded hectic. It was like so much going on, and I was like, ooh. And then all of a sudden he sends me this recording, and it's just I loved it.
Yeah, I struggle to show people like
your process.
It's because I'm adding so much stuff to it, and I know lots of it probably won't make it to the final cut. Plus, they're probably rough takes of something I want to play better. So it's like I'm not quite ready to show anyone until it's about 85 to 90% there. Otherwise, it will just sound like trash. Or it's like, what have you been? It sounds like me burraging around in a
yeah.
Jeez. And so how did you find this process, Matt, when compared to actually working through your debut album that you released last year? Was it last year or the year before?
It was last year.
Yeah.
It was like 29. Yeah. I think being in the Moldy Lovers was kind of practice for it, because I'd always listened to music as a kid and just thought it was some sort of weird alchemy where it's like, well, but how did they know that drum like would go with that guitar and those
Yeah.
vocals. But then being in the Moldy Lovers, it was like, oh, okay, you just jam to one line. Like one line exists, and then you just keep jamming until something sticks. And then once those two layers stick, then you add another layer and try different things until that sticks, and on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
In my case. So that's basically my process. I don't imagine this, but it's kind of like having 20 musicians in a room, slowly taking their time and like taking turns to jam their piece, their line or riff to what's already there. Yeah.
Nice. And so the sound of Lulu and obscure orchestras are obviously quite different. How is the experience trying to find commonality and complementary aspects between the two for this track?
Well, for me, it was like it doesn't really sound much like any of the other Lulu songs to me. Like it was quite different, which is kind of why I sent it to Matt. Like I was like, "What do you think of this one?" But like I wasn't sure because it wasn't like a vocal style I'd really used before, and yeah, well, because basically it's a folk song, really.
Yeah.
Like folk pop, but like it's not like I don't know. And I guess for Matt, it was probably maybe slightly more simple chords than you're used to. Like it's more kind of pop orientated.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't try to go too crazy with the chords, so it's like quite. It's good for me to be able to build something around a simpler chord progression because it doesn't complicate my process too much.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, okay, so like all my songs, if you listen to them back to back, there is a certain like sound quality to them, but I try to change feels and I guess you could use the word genres from song to song. So it's like I'm never too scared to try and like craft something over a genre that's like out of my wheelhouse or something.
Yeah.
I just like to experiment.
Yeah, that's the way. And so, Lewis, originally when you wrote it, did you not intend to release it under Lulu?
I don't know. Yeah, because I write songs all the time, and like maybe half of them end up making it to like Lulu. Because I don't know. Yeah, I guess I try not to be too bound by genres or whatever. But typically, I release for more rocky kind of garagey stuff as Lulu. But I don't know. Part of my thing with this band versus like other guitar bands I've had is I don't want to really be limited by one sound. Like my last band was a surf band, and then it felt like we always had to put out surf music. But like even in my live set, I like to have a few kind of weird ones at the start where I have like drum machine and synth and stuff, and then some more kind of mainstream poppy sounding garage stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit different for me, but yeah, I'm trying not to release one type of music, so I guess that's okay.
Yeah, fair. And so, if you guys could implement any genre into your repertoire, what would you pick?
Oh man,
I'd love to be able to execute like really kind of like dark synth pop. Like I've been just the last 2 years trying to kind of get my head around synth and drum machine stuff. I'm so rudimentary in my like actual like programming, but I'd love to be able to like have like really deep kind of like bassy synth lines and stuff.
Oh
I don't know
yes.
how to incorporate it, but I love the idea of having some more 80s stuff.
Mine's sort of rhythmic as well. Like I'm really fascinated at how Latin beats are put together, or like Afro-Cuban grooves.
Yeah.
That kind of like multi-layered percussion where there's like syncopation and stuff. I would love to sit down and like nut out how that works, or just like pick someone's brains who knows about it, and somehow incorporate that, because that's alchemy to me. That's magic.
Yeah. Nice. And have you guys found a specific release that you've heard so far this year that you think you've revisited the most so far? It could be a single, EP, or album.
I don't know, because I normally kind of just listen to, like, I have a few friends who just send me YouTube links every other day. And that tends to be what I listen to. I used to like really like smash albums, but for some reason, even though it makes so much sense in quarantine just to be listening to music all the time, I kind of haven't been. I've just been listening to whatever people send me. But I did really like. I was listening to it again this week, and I guess I was listening to it earlier in the year, so that counts. But it was do you know Dick Stusso? He's a guy from America. He does kind of like Americana, alt folk country sort of stuff.
Okay, no, I'm not familiar.
And modern and jazzy as well. Anyway, he has an album called In Heaven, And yeah, that one's really nice. I was listening to that yesterday.
Mhm.
Nice. What about you,
Yeah.
Matt?
Actually, Louis put me onto Lanius's new release called Monstera. What is it? Something Monstera.
Yeah.
Monstera Deliciosa, I believe
Yeah.
it is.
Something like that.
Okay.
And Lanius is like a sort of Brisbane West End legend, croon punk, like he's
Neo soul.
neo-soul,
Oh,
like
geez.
madman kind of thing. And this release is really like the textures in it really beautiful, and like
Yeah.
I'm really
it was
enjoying
the best music he's put out in years too, which is cool because Matt's been into him for forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Nice. And apart from him, have you heard any other Queensland releases recently that have really stood out?
Oh, for sure. The person I collaborated on my previous song, her name is Apidalia, and they keep pumping out just onto SoundCloud these beautiful tracks that are like lo-fi, bedroom pop sort of.
I followed her on SoundCloud recently, and now it's like my SoundCloud automatically puts her on like every day. It's funny.
It's good, hey?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, she's a bit of a genius.
I also really like a country practice put out a song earlier this year called "The Inundation Into Our Room," and that song's great. There's like it's such strange, cool music. That's what I want to be doing with my synthy stuff, but I'm not as clever as them. They're like mad geniuses.
You'll get there, man.
Yeah.
And
Boomy, mad genius.
and another loaded question. In your opinions, what is the most underappreciated or underrated era of music?
Underrated.
2000 to 2005 Japanese experimental pop.
Oh, wow. I don't think I've heard any of it, man.
There are two bands that stick out for me. There's like a post-rock band called Acid Man, and in that time they came out with two songs called SAI Part 1 and Part 2, and back to back they're just two amazing tracks. And this artist named Sheena Ringo, she's like the Björk or Fiona Apple of Japan, like this experimental avant-garde.
Cool.
Yeah, she's really cool.
And I'd have to say early 2000s ska pop. No, I don't know. I was telling you last time you interviewed me on the show about the Zambian rock music from the 70s I've been listening to. I want to go with that one because I don't think many people listen to Zambian rock, but it's pretty fucking cool.
Great shout.
I was listening to Moroccan
From the 90s.
Yeah. From the future when I time traveled there.
And unfortunately, one of the many downsides to the ISO world we've been living in is that we haven't been able to see any live shows in quite a while, which got me thinking, if you guys could pick anyone to see first, who would you pick and why, and in what venue?
I don't know if it's a cheat answer, but I was meant to be seeing Eddie Current Suppression Ring like next month at the Triffid, so that would be fun. But I think it's been postponed, so maybe not going to happen until early next year or something.
Hey. I had tickets, but then missed out on watching Joe Hisaishi, who's the composer for, I think, all of the Studio Ghibli animated films in Melbourne. But I was part of a theater show then, and there was a clash, so I would see him anywhere, any orchestral concert hall. But also, I would love to see Leanne La Havas perform at like the Barbican or something like that. Yeah, that'd be amazing. It's this like UK, really nice venue. Yeah,
nice. And how have you guys been keeping sane in this ISO world? Do you guys have any entertainment or hobby recommendations?
I haven't been keeping sane at all.
I've been watching my wife play Zelda, and that just even watching it is quite relaxing, and the soundtrack's pretty nice as well. But I always keep thinking,
actually,
like,
at the peak of like everyone being freaked out and like going into isolation. I hadn't played video games in years, and I got a Switch right at the start, and I played Zelda. That kept me pretty sane.
This is Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
yeah.
good game.
And
But then I
sure.
finished it. Now there's nothing to do with my life.
there's also the Star Trek: The Next Generation, Louis. There's a good 7 seasons of that.
Yeah.
That keeps me sane. And a Netflix show called Midnight Diner, which is about a Tokyo diner that opens from midnight to 7 a.m. and all manner of kooky Tokyo residents pop in and
Yeah,
Ah,
share.
it's pretty wacky. I watched a bit of it.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
nice.
And bike rides. Lots of bike rides.
Oh, of course. And so what else can we expect from you guys in the not too distant future?
I'm releasing an EP this month, which is exciting. It's my first time releasing more than one song in a go since Moldy's released our last album, I guess.
Oh, right.
So it's
Wow.
5 years or something. So yeah, that's
Actually.
exciting. It feels good to be like, even though that's just what you do these days, you just pump out singles, but it feels nice to be putting out a package of songs. So I'm excited about that. That comes out July 27th, called It Spills Out.
I'm yeah, it's very exciting. And the artwork, beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
The artwork was designed by Matt's collaborator and housemate.
Oh, okay.
They've done a lot of Matt's kind of like, worked on some of your music videos.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
lots of your like artwork and stuff.
Asher Legs. You want to find them on Instagram. I'll be yeah. I'm I've currently been working with a theatre project. I'm not allowed to say too much yet, but it'll be happening in September in Brisbane, and it's like, yeah, it's a theatre project, and I'm doing the soundtrack to it.
Oh, okay.
It's part of Brisbane Festival.
Oh,
Are you not even allowed to say?
I'm not allowed to say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Can you
Okay.
bleep
No, I
that?
can cut that out. Yeah, it's all right. Jeez, very hush hush.
Yeah, something to do with funding or something.
Huh.
And also, I'm working on a piece of music, a song that I'm really excited about. And I've recently got not a Rhodes keyboard, but a Nord keyboard that has a really good emulation of a Rhodes like electric piano. And I've been having a lot of fun playing with that and building like organic layers around it. And man, it is such a good glue to bring everything together.
Matt sits out in the backyard, of the apartment block where the laundry is, and just sits there with his like really fancy keyboard in his lap all day.
Just living the dream.
Yeah.
So that song, I'm tentatively calling it "Welcome to the Neighborhood."
Welcome to a jungle.
And the idea is that it'll feature all of the cast members of the theatre show I was part of in January, which was LeBoit Theatre's The Neighborhood, about like refugees and immigrants and stuff like that. Yeah, I reckon August or September that should come out as a single and a music video, perhaps.
Beautiful. And so, but back to the loulou EP briefly, Lewis. What kind of things can we expect from the other tracks from that release, excluding photosynthesis and Got to Get Better, of course, on it? But
I know, because those two are probably the most similar, I guess. The other two are both kind of like opposite ends of this spectrum. Like the title track's probably my most rocky. I showed you that one recently.
Yeah.
You call it rocky?
Yeah,
It's pretty like fast and riffy.
Yeah.
And it has like a really dramatic sounding chorus, which I don't normally write like catchy choruses. So I was pretty happy with that. And the other one's funny. It's a song about motivation, but it's the laziest song. It's just like it came out really slow for some reason. It really kind of like dragged along. And so I don't know, it kind of almost works in like a contrast sort of way. Like it's a song about trying to like kick yourself into gear and make yourself like go to a rally or like write some music. Yeah, it came out as this kind of like funny slacker song.
geez, and so are those other two songs, were they written much more recently than the first two singles?
Yeah, they were both written like since I like started Loulou, I guess. But the other two were both songs I've been working on because I'd like been planning to start a new band where I play guitar and sing for years. But I have this whole drama where every time I made a band, someone would move away, and it just like, kept not happening. And then the other two are ones I've written in the last like a year, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to putting them out there because like we recorded them back in January with the plan of not having a pandemic, and we wanted to like tour and like do some stuff with it earlier in the year and then just move on. But then instead, I've had to kind of slowly stagger them out to like try and get people to actually listen to it without like supporting them with gigs and stuff.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to putting it out there and kind of having them out there and then starting with some new songwriting, which will be cool.
Very nice. Can't wait, guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
lastly, if you guys had only a few words to describe each other's music, which few words would you use?
Mm. I'll start.
Yeah, go for it.
It's heartfelt. What's the word I'm looking for? It's heartfelt and like there's no like superficialities to it. It's just like straight up with what it is.
Honest?
Honest.
Mm.
Maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, there you go.
Heartfelt, honest, and like also earnest. Like it's just like, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For Maddie,
Beautiful.
I'd say imaginative, diverse, and powerful.
Oh, powerful.
Mm.
Whoa.
Hey.
Lovely stuff, guys.
It's a romance you're seeing, right?
Yeah, it's very obvious. Lewis and Matt, thanks for joining me, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Calen.
Thanks for having us.